Kempire is brought to you by. First off, thank you guys so much for always supporting any way that you can, from liking videos, sharing our content. But most importantly, what we need you to do is rate our podcast. 5 stars on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. This will take us to the next level. This will allow us to show up on other pages and homes that aren't currently following the Kempire Podcast. As you know, here in the Kempire Podcast, it's not just a regurgitation of all the other things that you get on other platforms. We have special episodes, special content, exclusive content to the Kempire Podcast. If you are just listening to this for the very first time, take some time out of your day and give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And let us know what you love about the Kempire Podcast. Thank you in advance. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. Hey, y'all. How's everyone doing? Happy Monday. I can't believe it's Monday. I woke up this morning thinking, like, what day is it? What day is it? You know, it's a full weekend as usual. But I'm like, wait a minute. Is it Monday? It is Monday. How are you guys feeling? How was your weekend? What did you guys do this weekend? It was a beautiful weekend here in New York City. We actually have spring-like weather, not fall weather. We have spring-like weather. I'm not mad about it, but then part is sort of like, all right, I turned off my air conditioning. I don't want to have to turn it back on. And literally, I had to turn my air conditioning back on today because it's too warm in the house. Because look, it's not like where I was before. It's sort of like you got to adjust to the different temperatures and light exposures. And okay, y'all didn't come here to hear me complain, but I'm just trying to explain to you how I did for my weekend. Do you ask someone how their weekend is and you really don't want to hear how it was? Just saying. Just saying. Kalani says the weekend went too quickly. Yeah, it always does, doesn't it? Before I know, I was like, Saturday's over. I'm on Sunday. I'm like, are you guys watching that Tia Mowry show? I haven't watched an episode yet. I forgot. Look, I forgot to watch it. Are you guys watching it? None of you have told me to watch it and recap it. That's usually how I know if a show is good or not. And if you're watching it, a lot of times you will tell me, oh, I'm watching. Are you watching? It's good. I haven't really seen you guys talk about it. Look, hold on. I really haven't seen you guys talk about it. All right. Rebecca says it's a gloomy day in England. Isn't it always? Look. All right. Oh, yes, Patricia. So happy to hear that. Patricia says, here in Florida, safe from Milton. Shout out to everyone in Florida that was affected by Helene and Milton in the last couple of weeks. We're going to get into this. And don't forget, it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I still had, among the many things that I have to do, I've been reminded that I need to make sure I put together our fundraiser for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We know we normally always do it. I'm just, since I'm in a new environment, I'm like, oh gosh, I forgot to do this, forgot to do that, whatever. All right. But we're going to get to it. Let's get into this recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. Guys, let me know where you're watching from and let me know how you would rate this week's episode of Potomac. Hey. Happy Monday, y'all. Real Housewives of Potomac last night. I literally just rewatched the episode. What did you guys think of the episode? Are you missing something? Is something missing? Are you enjoying the newbies? And I'm asking these questions not in a shady way. I'm asking real questions. How are you feeling about the season? It's only episode 2, though. It's only episode 2. I already saw a lot of people saying, oh my gosh, I felt the missing pieces of regular Robin and Candace. And I was like, I really didn't miss the energy. And not to say that they didn't add things over the years, but that didn't stand out to me. It's not like, I'm trying to remember when Nene wasn't there. Did it stand out to me too? I don't remember. But eventually you do get over it because the show has moved on. But some of you say, well, not for the better. Maybe not for the better. Shout out to everyone watching around the country, around the world. We appreciate you guys. And shout out to our replay crew as well. Shout out to our King's Guards. Shout out to our channel members. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. I did want to say shout out to our friends over at Factor. You know we love our Factor meal. You know I love to eat, but I also I'm a busy person. Some of you are busy. Some of you had a busy weekend. And on a day like on a Monday where you're catching up on things, the last thing you want to think about, what am I making for dinner tonight? Well, Factor Meals makes it so easy. Sweater weather pairs perfectly with savory fall foods, but with your busy schedule, sometimes it's hard to eat the way that you'd like. That's where Factor comes in. Their chefs do the shopping and the chopping to bring you fresh, never frozen, fully cooked meals right to your doorstep. All you have to do is heat and eat. All the meals are dietitian approved, so you know you're getting the nutrition you need along with all the fall flavors you crave. And most of all, I love that they have something for everyone from gourmet plus, keto, calorie smart, and vegan and veggie. All right. Head on over to factormeals.com/Kempire50 and use code Kempire50 to get 50% off your first box and 20% off your next month. That's code Kempire50 at factormeals.com/Kempire50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month. More information on Factor Meals will be available in the description. All right. Let me pull up my notes. So we continue for the Real Housewives of Potomac. We continue from last week's episode. We're at the Hat-titude party, and I said, please, dear God, producers, network, Andy Cohen, do not let Giselle ever throw another festivity. And then we get another festivity of Giselle in this episode. So we're still at the Hat-titude party. You know, it ended with Mia running off and crying. And then after watching it again, I was like, is Mia putting on a performance? And look, I was defending Mia last week, and I said, any parent, as someone that's not a parent, I can only imagine anyone attacking you as a parent, as a mother, would be hard. All right. But then after hearing her cry, I was like, I think she's putting a little sauce on this cry. Go back and listen to it. Did it feel like she was being performative? Look, we already know what Mia be lying. So it's hard to take anything that she says 100%. But I do believe that she was hurt. But I do feel like she put a little sauce on that cry. I do believe she put a little sauce in that cry. Wendy did come to her defense when Mia left the table. She was like, the way that you guys are attacking her parenting, I understand, why she might feel that way. And she's just like, oh, we weren't attacking her parenting. Well, yeah, you were. Look, yeah, you were. So they immediately were apologetic when Mia came back to the table. But before that, Giselle decides she's going to continue her hat-titude give out. So she gives Wendy a bucket hat. She says, since our friendship is in a bucket, I'm going to give you a bucket hat. Where then Wendy decides to rap a little verse. But she does invite Wendy to a lunch. She's like, Wendy, I'd like to have a conversation with you tomorrow for lunch. And then Wendy's like, I'm open to that. I'm open to that. We know all of you are open to it because all of you received a call from the network and said, we can't move forward unless you two are getting along. We can't go through another season where Giselle is icing Wendy out or saying this or doing that in regards to Wendy. We'll talk about that conversation because that's the next scene in a second. I think I have it here. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I have the tweet. I want to read this tweet that Dr. Wendy posted on social media in regards to this lunch that they did. So they discussed that they're going to have a hat-titude. She gives her a bucket hat, but then she says to Dr. Wendy that, yes, we'll have a lunch tomorrow. Okay. Then Giselle and Karen apologize to Mia when Mia comes back to the table about attacking her situation. Mia goes back in her confession. She's like, Karen is the queen of deflecting. And that's exactly what she did. We went from talking about Karen's DUI and 9 citations to now about my relationship with G. But Karen makes a comment. She's like, she felt like this party was an inquisition. Take a drink every time she says inquisition in this episode. Just saying. Because she said that she notes that they wanted this to be her inquisition party. No, they really wanted you to take some accountability because God forbid this was someone else on the cast. Karen, you would be dragging it. And rightfully so. But the way that you've handled this DUI, sidebar, I saw that Shannon Bedore responded on Watch What Happens Live that Karen sent her a text after her DUI. And saying that she didn't receive a text from Karen. She said she did get a text like the day that Karen got her DUI. I don't know. I don't know what to believe. You both got DUI. Shame on you both. Period. Like, I'm not comparing either one of them. I will say that Shannon's taken a little bit more accountability. Definitely. She's taken a lot more accountability than Karen. However, I'm also tired of people doing this to Shannon. Whoa, Shannon. Always feeling bad for Shannon. She's a grown woman. Look, both of them are grown women. But Karen, this is your second DUI, as Ashley reminded us multiple times last week. Anyway, so Karen believes that they wanted this party to be her Inquisition party. All right. So the next scene, it's Giselle and Wendy having a lunch. So it's very awkward from the very beginning because we know that neither one of these people wanted to do this lunch. This was production. It's not even production. I know we like to blame production, but at the end of the day, production is just doing the work that the network tells them to do. And that goes with the scenes that we see. Like, they're there to produce it and get the information and get all the scenes. But at the end of the day, the narrative, the story that is told, is what the network wants to tell, including Andy Cohen. I know he's a producer, but he's also a network person. I know technical. Okay, here gonna be. He doesn't work for the network anymore. Kempire. He doesn't work for the network. I understand that, but he used to. And that's also the same people that are trying to say that Andy Cohen doesn't have an influence. He's an employee. He's a talent. Please save me. Look, we know what it says on his damn title, but we know what happens behind the scenes. He's also the owner of this brand. Look, why am I so angry? Because I could already see somebody like, well, he not. Okay, fine. You can keep sucking up to Andy Cohen like he's gonna do something for you. Like they did nothing in the scene. This scene felt so flat to me. And even after watching it a second time, I was just like, are we supposed to really believe this? And I've said this before. If you watch any of our Real Housewives of Potomac recaps, I've said countless times that the network has a responsibility to their audience. The conversations that they have in regards to colorism and racism and the Black experience, they need to be more responsible about how that is shared on the show, because your audience keeps saying to you that they're triggered. Sidebar, speaking of isms, did you guys notice when Giselle said that she's not going to be bringing up any isms? And then I said to myself, wait, is she talking about colorism? What do you guys think? When Giselle said she's not going to be bringing up any isms, I said, what? Look, what? This whole scene was production's way of making Giselle look good. They want Giselle to get back in favor of the audience. And look, they're doing a good job this season, except in this scene. Because according to Dr. Wendy Asefo, let me bring up this tweet. Hold on one second. Let me bring up this tweet. Because according to Dr. Wendy Asefo, there was a lot more that was talked about during this scene. All right. So let me just share this. Okay. So shout out to our girl, Brooke Ashley. So she asked the question. I'm all for moving on and forgiving, but we have to have some tough conversations and get to the root. Wendy let her off way too easy and didn't bring up anything. This is crazy. So Wendy retweeted and said, no, baby, I brought up everything. Saying I could not use her bathroom at the Reasonably Shady event, saying it was okay for me to be assaulted because she does not like me, bringing up a fake rumor about my husband, talking badly about my mother, etc. It was a 2-hour lunch. And look, we understand that they can't show a whole 2-hour lunch, but you could have showed this in a better way. It clearly was showing Giselle in the best light. Giselle held the majority of the conversation. And we didn't see Dr. Wendy bring up anything in regards to what the audience has been triggered about. So there were a couple of things that Giselle said that triggered me. I was just like, Giselle, what the hell are you talking about? Because Wendy had, she was a little critical the way that Giselle was eating the food. And she was like, you see that's what, there's no friendship when someone is speaking demeaning to you. And this is coming from a Virgo. Virgos have a sharp tongue and they don't hold back in regards to their opinions if you're doing something right or wrong or the right way or the wrong way. All right. So I thought that was interesting. And that to me was sort of like, okay, that felt a little weird. And look, I'm not going to tell Giselle how to feel the same way that she can't tell Dr. Wendy how to feel in regards to what they've experienced with each other. But I was like, this is starting off a little awkward. And then it's so funny because they had that little bit of a conversation about friendship and feeling demeaned. And mind you, this is her side. This is Giselle's side. We didn't hear one of the issues that Dr. Wendy Asefo had with Giselle over the years. You could have spent, I'm not telling the production or the network to show this whole 2 hours, but this scene could have been edited a whole lot better. It could have, because at the end of the day, this scene is not just about these two people moving on. This scene is about helping your audience move on because you've triggered them for the last 3-4 seasons. So I think all of us were looking forward to this conversation. I was like, okay, let's see, at least me, I was keeping an open mind. Let's see how we get to a place where Wendy and Gizelle are together and hopefully doesn't feel like it's forced. It felt forced because how in the hell did Wendy bring up all those issues and they came to a better place? Gizelle, by the end of the conversation, I feel like, I thought maybe we could just, be civil. I feel like we're besties by the end of it. Hold on.
Live! The live!
But even Wendy was like, I don't know if we're besties, but okay. But so for me, by the end of this Gizelle and Wendy conversation, I was like, it's very clear what they wanted to do. They wanted us to be able to move on as an audience, but we can't move on as an audience with that surface conversation. That was such a surface conversation between Gizelle and Dr. Wendy. And honestly, I don't blame Dr. Wendy because Dr. Wendy said that she brought up everything. She brought up all the issues. I would have loved to see Giselle's response to that. But Gizelle still, even with everything that she said about, losing her father and being in a different place and she wants to move forward. No, it's very clear. The network told you we need to move forward. We can't move in the same direction that we had. And honestly, if they had kept regular Robin, I do think that Dr. Wendy and Dr. Wendy and regular Robin would have been able to move forward. Gizelle is just not in her. She started off the conversation, I don't want any isms. I don't want to bring up any isms. She's already attacking the way that Wendy was criticizing the way that she was eating the thing. And honestly, I didn't take the criticism of the way she was eating the thing as like, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? Like, maybe because I'm around a lot of Virgos. So Virgos are very critical like that. So I'm used to people being critical. Hey, Virgos, shout out to the Virgos. Y'all know I'm always bringing y'all up. Dr. Wendy's a Gemini, though. Geminis can be a little bit like that, too. I'm just saying. So I don't feel like the conversation did what I thought I was hoping for that it would do. But I remind you guys, this is not even on a production level. This is at a network level. The production was there, and they got all of the information. They had the entire conversation. They decided to edit one way. Who knows, when they brought this to an Andy Cohen into the network, they're like, yeah, let's take that out. Let's take that out. We don't want to go back that way. We don't want to go back to that direction. Keep that in mind. Look, keep that in mind when you're watching this. Because it's not just production. It's also the network in the ear saying like, well, this is what it is. We don't want to bring up the colorism again. This conversation didn't land the way you guys thought it was going to land. Gizelle and Wendy end up talking about Mia and Karen meeting Mia's man and him being short. Who cares? Look, who cares? Karen is just producing the season. She will talk about anything and anyone so that we don't talk about her 9 citations. But you know what, Karen? I'm going to bring it up every freaking recap. And yes, we love Karen, but we're still going to hold her accountable. You should understand that, Karen, as a Taurus. Because that's the type of friend that we are. We don't blindly ride with someone when they're wrong. And I know we're never wrong, but you were wrong. You and your 9 citations. Anyways, you know who I really am liking? Stacy. Aren't you guys liking Stacy? I love the scene with Stacy at home with her daughter. Because look, Black success, we have au pairs. We're learning multiple languages. I was like, I like this scene. And because the thing is too, I know women very much like Stacy, that this is the life that they're creating for their children. So she's at home with her daughter, and I'm glad that she must be in a good place with her husband. First of all, they're still living under the same roof. We found that out. They've been separated for a year. But she has an au pair, so she's learning Spanish and she's learning German. Looks like she knows more German than she knows Spanish. She's about to go on spring break with her father to Mexico. So Stacy's like, I need to make sure that you're able to get help. Like, this is some real Black mama stuff. No, it's like mama stuff, but real Black mama stuff. I need you to know your father's number. God forbid you're separated from him. I need you to know how to scream in Spanish. I need help. I really appreciated this scene because I could tell you a bunch of Black mamas very much like Stacy that are living this type. This is a very typical scene. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed a couple of scenes with Stacy this episode. Okay. Right. Vanessa says, I was impressed by her daughter's languages. I was like, because remember, her father is German. So and Stacy knows German too. I was like, okay, Stacy. I enjoyed this. And look, I'm not saying that the other housewives on Potomac aren't great mothers, but they don't highlight that a lot. And when they do, we call it out. When we see Giselle and her daughters, we're like, she's a great mom. Someone wants to know what an au pair is. An au pair is someone, usually it's sort of not a babysitter. Let's see, I don't know the official definition, but it's sort of like a babysitter that's there to help your child learn another language. So they're taking care of your child. They're coming from another country and they're coming to take care of your child, but they're teaching your child their language as well and culture. So that's what's happening with their daughter. I was like, this is great. I love this scene. Ateka says, I enjoyed Stacey's set. I really did. I mean, I've been enjoying what we've seen of Stacey so far. And I wanted to get to know her myself. I didn't want, to listen to the other housewives. Like, I can see why they think she's a little bit like a Mary Cosby because she's a little kooky. All right. Exactly. That's probably a better way of saying it. They live in and they're close to a nanny. They're basically a nanny from another country coming to live with you. But your child ends up learning another language from them. So I thought that was SD Max said it's an expensive nanny. No, it's not just that. It's a whole cultural experience, both for the nanny and also for your child. Ooh, see? Osea, is that how I pronounce your name? Especially with infants and toddlers, au pairs can be less expensive than a traditional childcare. So do some homework on it for those that are, I know we have a few people that are pregnant watching. Dawn says, I like how Stacy co-parents. Yeah, because they seem to be in a good place, and they must be in a good place for him to allow the daughter to be on the show. Because, sometimes that can become contentious with these families and these relationships. Like, you're not going to have my child on the show. So I was so happy to see that they were able to do that. So they live under the same roof, but they're living separately. She says she knows he's dating. Stacy knows he's dating, but she's also dating. And look, we'll talk about who she's dating in just a second when we get to that scene. So she has two homes. She has a home in DC. Like, Stacey's got some cash. Stacey's not broke. Because I know it's not cheap to live in the DMV area. And she said that she has a DC apartment and she has the home that she shares with her estranged husband, because they're not divorced at this particular point. I don't know if they've since divorced. But I just like the scene with her daughter, seeing her with her daughter, seeing that she's trying to instill, first of all, safety while traveling, the language. She's giving us just an idea of who Stacy is. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this scene with her daughter. Okay. And the perspective on, because remember, she was with her husband for 16 years. She was with him for 16 years before now getting a divorce. And she did say that they have not told their daughter about the divorce yet. They want to figure out all the settlement stuff. They also want to figure out, they just want to figure out the details of this divorce. They want to finalize it. Once they finalize the divorce, that's when they will tell their daughter about the divorce. Do you think that's good? Because here's the thing. I think a lot of parents think kids don't know what's going on. I think their daughter knows that they're sleeping separately. I think their daughter knows that there's something going on. Kids are a lot smarter than parents give them credit. And as she's preparing her daughter for this trip, I think she could also prepare her daughter for this divorce, because I don't think there should be just one conversation. Like, I feel like there should be multiple conversations, and I'm sure there will be. But I think even leading up to a divorce, because once they finalize the divorce, the house might be, she might be moving out, or someone's moving out. You know what I mean? So I feel like they could ease into the conversation about the divorce. Okay. Vanessa says, I agree, Kempire. That was a good scene. Beautiful, the way that she protects her daughter. Take note. No, God, come on. We didn't have to take a dig at Mia. Okay. Oh, yes. Okay, now SD Max says, I want all my West Indian nannies in New York City to get a rebrand. I mean, technically, those are au pairs, too. I mean, we're teaching them patois. I don't know how many people want to learn patois, but that's okay. Look. That's okay. All right. Well, their daughter is what, like, how old is the daughter? 8 years old? I don't remember how old the daughter is. I can't remember. She said it, though. I can't remember how old their daughter is. Exactly. Jamie says, if you're abroad, many people, even in Jamaica, have au pairs, nannies, or helpers, whatever you choose to call it. I agree. That's very common in Jamaica. All right. Moving on from the scene with Stacy, guys, you're just joining us. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac. Be sure to like the video if you haven't already. It's an easy and free way of supporting not just my channel, but other channels as well. And for everything Kempire, including our new show that's coming to Los Angeles, the Kempire After Dark live experience is coming there to the Bourbon Room on November 20th. Have you gotten your tickets yet? Don't wait till the last minute. I plan on selling out in Los Angeles. Look, you got to speak it to create it. Just saying. Oh, she's 8, right? She's 8. Stacy's daughter. Go get your tickets today. I'll be at the Bourbon Room on November 20th. Let's sell out this show. Because if we don't, I'm not coming back to the West Coast.
Lies! The lie!
We don't sell out, I'm not coming back. Look, I'm not coming back. Anyway, I'm just saying. We sold out in New York City. We sold out in the DMV. Just saying. You got to go where the people are, right? All right. Anyways, guys, more information on the Kempire After Dark, a live experience, will be available in the description. Okay. All right. Shout out to everyone watching on TikTok. Those of you watching on Twitch and Twitter, we see you guys. And shout out to those of you who are watching on Facebook. And of course, the majority of you are watching here on YouTube. All right. Exactly. Vanessa said, yeah, Kempire coming to my town. Yes. All right. Let me move on because there are some scenes that I have some conversations that I want to talk about. All right. Kiana and Karen. So a lot of people are asking about Kiana. Where's Kiana? Where's Kiana? Okay. Well, Kiana meets up with Karen. And I feel like this was a great way of introducing Kiana back into the fold. Because remember, at the reunion, Kiana was very emotional and very thankful to Karen for being there after the brawl that happened last season. So this was a perfect segue to bring Kiana on the show. So she meets up with Karen and we learned a little bit more about Kiana. So Kiana's moving in with her boyfriend, Greg, but they're building a home together. They're not engaged, but we did find out that Kiana was engaged at one particular point and that fiance passed away. I don't know how he passed away, but he died. So she talks a little bit about that. So like, there's a lot more for us to learn about Kiana. And a lot of people were they like Kiana. A lot of people saying they want to see Kiana with a flute. I'm not one to jump on giving people flutes, but I'm here to learn a little bit more about Kiana this season. And it seems like her and her man are both like entrepreneurs. So she recently moved in with him. So she was just updating Karen on that and how her mom is like, well, like, where is this going? Because they're not engaged. All right. Karen brings up the party. She's like, why weren't you at the party? Didn't they invite you? She's just stirring the pot. Because for those that don't know, Kiana and Giselle are in a good place. Remember from last season? And they have a mutual friend, Giselle's hairstylist. So they never had an issue. It feels as if Karen was trying to start an issue, but Giselle kept on saying like, well, we didn't have enough room to invite everyone. There are a few people you could have left off the list and invited Kiana. Because I think at this particular point, because remember, we found out Kiana got a flute late in the season. At one particular point, they were saying she wasn't going to even be a part of the season. Then another particular point, we found out she was she was getting full time. So I feel like that's what was going on. Because why wouldn't you invite Kiana to this event? Giselle and Kiana didn't have any issues. So I think that's part of the reason why Kiana wasn't invited. But Karen wants to stir the pot and make it seem like Giselle left her off the guest list. And Kiana was like, I'm good. Because Karen brings up, like, well, they're having another G&A event. Hopefully you're invited to that. She's like, I could pass on a G&A event. Because you remember that was where the whole situation, the brawl happened, was a G&A event. Karen does bring up that everybody was asking her a lot of questions about the quote accident. You notice the words that she uses. It was an accident. Yeah, there was an accident, but you were inebriated in that accident. You received 9 citations in that accident. Your DUI, your DWI. Yes, the accident. She said, they tried to make this an inquisition. Girl, if it was regular Robin, it would be a whole other situation. If it was Giselle, it would have been a whole situation. Just saying. Just got to remind you guys, because if the reverse was happening, we saw how she handled the whole Juan Dixon and Juan being caught out there with the lady at the hotel. So this is even more serious than that, because at the end of the day, if regular Robin wants to be with the cheating man, that's on her. That's not hurting anybody besides her and the cheating man. That's not hurting anybody. You could have killed somebody. Just saying. Karen, you're not going to get it easy from me this season, please. Especially because you're not having any accountability about the accident. Okay, Karen. All right, let's talk about the scene with Ashley and Stacy. Oh, God. So if you follow me on Twitter, I said, Stacy's better than me, because I wouldn't tell Ashley what I was having for breakfast, never mind any of my personal business. But before we even get to that, do y'all think it's a big deal that Stacy doesn't know the name of the man that cuts her grass? See, my situation is different. I know the person, the person that cuts my grass, it's not me. The person that cuts my grass is like a mom and pop business. But there's some people that have like a big business where they have people come and do their lawns and stuff like that. So for me, I didn't think it was a big deal that Stacey didn't know the man's name. He's probably not the man that owns the company. And a lot of times when they come, you're not home. I didn't think that it was a big deal. She's like, am I supposed to know the name of the man that cuts my grass? No, girl. Look, no. It's fine. I'm sure a lot of people don't know the name of the person that cuts their grass. Just say it. All right. And Creme Brulee says her husband's paying the man to cut the grass. Or she could be paying the man to cut her grass. She probably knows the name of the company, but she probably doesn't know the man that's actually doing the grass cutting. And if I'm honest, I know the man that owns the company, but he has people that come sometimes, and when he doesn't come, I don't know that man's name that comes sometimes when when he doesn't come. Do you? Real question. Why we focus on this? Bougie. No, I don't even think it's bougie either. Okay. All right. So they talk a little bit about that. So they go for a walk. And I have to say, I never thought about this conversation before, just because it's not part of my life. I don't have children. I have biracial children. But I'm so glad that Stacey brought this up. Because first of all, she asked Ashley about, like, what's her, situation, like, in regards to her own identity. And Ashley says, I identify as a Black woman, but I'm biracial. Because Ashley says that, she grew up with the Black side of her family. But Ashley says that, her sons, because they don't necessarily look Black, and they're not really around that. But then she says, they don't really have a lot of exposure like she did. What do you mean? First of all, Michael Darby's family, I think, is in Australia. He might have one or two cousins that are here. Oh, no, he has kids here, I think. I don't even know if his kids are here. But you're still very close with your family. So I'm trying to understand how they don't have a connection to their Black side. If anything, they should have more of a connection to their Black side than their white side. I'm just saying. Because I know you're very close with your uncle. I know you're very close with your mama. So if you grew up around your Black family, I would assume your kids would too. But I like the conversation about racial identity, because Stacey says that, sometimes she wants her daughter. She has a very good connection with her German side, and they're very proud of that. And she wants her daughter to be proud of her Black side. But her family, because she's from Detroit, Stacey, is mostly in Detroit. So I was just like, I appreciate her being honest about that. Because she's like, she wants her daughter to be proud of that as well. Well, Stacey, you're already doing a heck of a job, because the fact that you're even conscious about something like that, because some people around here are not even conscious about stuff like that and don't do anything about it. And they just like, oh, yeah, whatever. But she's very conscious about, like, I want them to have, I want her to be proud of the Black side of her lineage. I was like, all right, I appreciated this conversation. But then the conversation goes into Stacey's love life. And she's telling Ashley about this. Ashley, who's still married to Gullum. Okay? We don't know when that divorce is happening. I know that's part of her storyline this season. She's getting a divorce. Okay, fine. She's working on getting her divorce. But then Stacey says, well, the guy that she met this guy at QVC. He was auditioning to be on QVC as well. And they started dating. After 6 months, they couldn't deny their passion for each other. But he's very Christian, and he doesn't want to have sex until they're married. And Ashley's like, girl, you ain't had a different, you know what, in 16, 17 years, and you waiting on this one? First of all, not everyone's a whore. No, but here's the thing. I feel like Ashley, like you literally just started like dating outside maybe not, because during your marriage, you guys had threesomes and things like that. So who knows? I just feel like if this is what Stacey's comfortable with, I'm okay with it. I mean, until we meet him, because I did see the scene with this guy, and I was sort of like, But maybe this works for Stacey. And I don't think Stacey had an unhappy marriage for the majority of her 16 years. It didn't seem that way. If anything, it seems like they fell out with each other in recent times. So I'm okay. If she's okay with taking it slow and respecting the fact that he's Christian, fine. But the way that Ashley responds, she's like, couldn't be me. We know it couldn't be you. Between you and Gollum. We know it couldn't be you. He barely couldn't stop being with other women while he was still married to you in an exclusive relationship to you. Just saying. Could it be? Mind you, it's only been 6 months she's talking about of not sleeping with this man. So she expects that Stacey wants to jump on the next pogo stick. Not everyone is like you. Not everyone was in a terrible marriage up into the entire time. It sounds like she had a decent marriage and they just grew apart. Just saying. Just saying. Deborah says Ashley's a garden tool. And that's the thing. Like, I have to say, I respect the way that Stacey and her soon-to-be ex-husband have really been handling this divorce. But like I said, for people to handle the divorce the way that they're handling it says to me that there's still a respect and a love there. So maybe it's not as easy for a Stacey just to hop on the next pogo stick. Ashley. Why is Ashley still here? Of all the people they could have got rid of this season, what is her story? What is her storyline? Exactly. Toy says other women and other men, allegedly. Is it alleged? I guess. Oh, I guess for Gollum. For Ashley, Ashley says she likes men and women. Anyways, all right. All right, moving on. The most important part of the scene for me was them talking about their children's racial identity and how they will navigate that in the world. For me, that was the best part of this conversation. But of course, Ashley is so gutta. She got to bring it to like, oh, so who you dating now? And whatever. Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. Queen says, Robin can rest in Jesus' name. Amen. Oh, Queen. I did not expect that. Damn. All right, Queen. Thank you for the super chat. Nikki, thank you for the super chat. Nikki says, former criminal defense attorney here. Karen can't take accountability until she enters a guilty plea. The difference between Karen and Shannon is at the time of the filming, Shannon has already pled guilty. Here's the thing. I don't care. Then you shouldn't be filming on a reality television show. But I appreciate it, Nikki, as a criminal defense attorney. Then get off this show if you can't talk about it. Get off the show. No one is saying that she should be like, oh, I take what she should say. Yeah, I'm just happy that no one was hurt. I'm just happy no one else was hurt. I don't care about, oh, she didn't plead guilty yet. Girl, this is your second DUI. 9 citations. And she's mad at Jacqueline for saying, let's wait to see how it all plays out. Why are you mad at Jacqueline? If anything, Jacqueline gave you grace. Okay, we're going to get to that in a second. Nicole, thank you so much for the super chat. Nicole says, Ashley had the nerve to give advice on divorce. That's like Trump giving advice on being physically fit. Thank you so much for the super chat. All right. Okay. All right. Let me go back down to the comments. All right, guys, don't forget to like the video if you haven't already. We're talking about the Real Housewives of Potomac. Patricia says, don't care. I don't care. We know what it is, and I get it. She didn't plead guilty. However, girl, you're on a reality television show. We know what it is. It wasn't some accident. Come on. Miss Esquire, another attorney says, 2 things can be true. Don't jeopardize your case, but don't be here. But she wants that money. Which just says second DUI sounds wild. It's the facts. It's the facts. Pretty Pig says, Kempire, have you had lunch? No, I had lunch today. I had breakfast, not lunch. I haven't had lunch yet. But I did have breakfast. Deborah says, Karen could have said that I'm really sorry it happened. Well, we shall see how this all plays out. But the way it's playing out this season is just deflection. I don't know why she was mad at Jacqueline for what she said, because I felt like Jacqueline was actually in Karen's defense. But we'll get to that in a second, because in this scene with Giselle and Karen pulls up in an Uber and Giselle's like, oh, I was just checking to see how you got here. She was like, Karen's getting a new driver. She's like, what happened to Blue Eyes? Fine. And Giselle does update Karen on her conversation with Dr. Wendy. And she's like, she told Dr. Wendy when Wendy's in conflict, she speaks down to them. She speaks down to people. So Giselle feels like she had a gripe with Dr. Wendy and stuff. Like Dr. Wendy was the only person wrong in their relationship falling apart. There was no accountability. It wasn't shared in the conversation with Wendy and Giselle. And then in Giselle retelling it to Karen, she's like, yeah, I was, she was wrong with the way she speaks to people. All right. See, now if Candace was still here, Candace would be like, what? That's not what we're doing. But Candace was willing to move forward with Giselle. Anyways, Karen says that she's putting Jacqueline on a timeout because she didn't like the way that Jacqueline says, I just want to wait and see how things play out. And then when they show the scene, that's not exactly what Jacqueline said. She said, we should not judge anyone. She literally says that. We shouldn't. If anything, she was coming to your defense. What I think Karen was upset about, she didn't know at the time, is that Jacqueline brought up that she had a conversation with Karen, and Karen sounded tipsy, or according to Mia, drunk. I think what somebody, either Giselle, maybe it was Dr. Wendy, told. Because remember when Dr. Wendy heard them bring this up, she's like, I'm not getting involved. I'm pretty sure either Wendy or someone told Karen that this was said at the Hat-titude party. I'm pretty sure that's what was said. And that's why Karen has put Jacqueline on a timeout. It wasn't what Jacqueline said right there, because it wouldn't make any sense. She was giving you grace. So she says she's on a timeout. Okay. All right. Because Karen says her real friends will ride with her no matter what. I'm not riding with you, Karen, if you drove inebriated and almost killed yourself and somebody else. Look, I'm not riding with you. And as a tourist, we're not that type of friend. We're not that. I get it. You're stubborn and you believe that you're always right, but you were wrong. And I do believe that you drove inebriated, under the influence, while intoxicated. What were the other citations? You producers, editors are so shady. Because when Giselle brings up the 9 citations, all we see is the 9 citations appear during Giselle's confessional. You guys are so shady. I appreciate it, though. Anyways, Karen brings up Kiana not being invited to the party, and Giselle immediately wanted to shut it down. She's like, I have no beef with Kiana. She's like, K? Look, K? She's like, I have no beef with Kiana. But she's like, you know what? I'm going to invite her to the GNA event. Okay, GNA. I'm trying to understand. Okay, so we're not doing athleisure anymore. So what are we doing? What did you get to the bottom of what this new era of GNA is going to be? I want to know. I still don't. Even after the event, I'm like, what exactly is this GNA event supposed to be? Like, what is it? What is it? What is this new era? Look, what is this new era of GNA? I don't understand it. I still don't, even after the event. I'm like, is it pills? Is it a diet plan? What is it? Princess on TikTok says, GNA ain't got no athletes. I know, we just showed it on my on YouTube. That's what's left on the website. Okay. So she mentions that she's going to throw this event, but she also mentions that this event is going to be a partner with this foundation because, Giselle's father recently passed away due to a brain tumor. So she wants to do a whole thing to celebrate and raise money for this foundation. Okay. The Girls Club says GNA is just a storyline. Oh, look. But she says she's going to honor her father at this event. Karen then says, well, also on the same day, I'm getting this award, the Femme Powered Award. But she doesn't know what time it is because Giselle keeps asking her. She's like, so what time is it? She's like, but I'm not going to miss your event. I'm not missing your event. Oh, okay. And then Giselle keeps like, but do you know what time it is? And Karen keeps like, I have so much going on right now, Jizzy. I don't know what time it is, but I'm not going to miss your event. But Giselle has been invited to this event. So Giselle knows that she kind of knows what the time frame is for this event. And she says that Karen wasn't even one of the recipients originally on this invite. So she wonders if Karen invited herself and asked them to give her the award. I think this is a PR stunt because of what played out. And I'm sure maybe Matt probably still in the background trying to help with marketing and publicity for Karen, said, we should get you an honor. Yes, you should be honored. First of all, the organization that gave you this event, they should be ashamed of themselves because you just got arrested for a DUI. And look, I know she has not been convicted, but the last thing I'm going to wait, very much like Jacqueline says, let's wait to give you this award. We'll give it to you next year. Let's see what the court says in regards to this. Because based on what the citations say, Karen Huger, why are we giving you a Femme Powered Award? I never even heard of this award before, but shout out to them. But I would not be giving her an award. They saw all of the news. Why would you give her an award unless she paid for it? This is what people do. People do this in the industry all the time, but they do it on a bigger level. Look, they do it on a bigger level where they buy, they have an album to promote or a movie to promote. And all of a sudden you're seeing that they're getting the award of the year or they're getting honored. They do this all the time. They just do it on a bigger scale. I never heard of this award in my life. Doesn't make it, less prestigious, but I'm just saying. So Karen paid for this probably. Says, I will make a hefty donation to your organization. It will also be featured on the Real Housewives of Potomac. So it brings a lot of attention to your organization. Yeah, now we're criticizing the organization for honoring someone that got cited 9 times. 9 times. She got cited 9 times. My goodness. 9 freaking times. But to me, it was a PR stunt. It was a whole PR stunt. And then she's downplaying, I don't know what time it is. Giselle's like, so it's like a brunch thing? And she's like, I don't know, Giselle. Clearly, and look, normally, if this was just a housewives thing and had nothing to do with DUI or anything like that, I'd be like, fine. This is just housewives antics of throwing a party at the same time. And let's see who goes where. We don't give a damn about your event, your PR stunt, Karen Huger, when you have been accused 9 times, different citations. We don't care about your PR stunt because we see what you're doing. We see exactly what you're doing. It's a scheme that Matt set up to come to us with the BS.
The lie.
It's actually annoying. It's annoying how much she's deflecting the season. And I get it. You can't necessarily, because you're in the middle of it, you can't necessarily admit to like, this is what I did. But now this whole situation, what you could have done is show up for Giselle's event and been a friend to Giselle's event. You could have went to Giselle's event and been like, oh, the decor though is a mess. But no, you decided I'm going to do a PR stunt to change the whole narrative around these 9 citations. And I hope at the reunion, Giselle comes with all the 9 citations on a t-shirt and give it out to the audience and then make it for sale on GNA's website because there ain't nothing else being sold on that damn website. Put all the citations right here. All the citations. That's what she needs to do. And I will approve. Look, that's the one time that I will approve of Giselle and her behavior. So 6 a.m. in the morning, 6 a.m. in the morning, Karen decides to send a text message to the ladies, inviting them to this event. Inviting them to this event, which clearly conflicts with Giselle's event. Stacy is appalled. She's clutching her pearls. She's just like, why would she do this? We already confirmed that we're going to Giselle's event. Mind you, Giselle did invite them like the week before. So clearly this was something she put together for the show, but it's still a good cause. And here's the thing, Karen. If Giselle had done what you did and it was related to your father or mother, because you know she loves to bring that up because that was one of the other things, I was having a heartfelt conversation about my mother and father passing away, and that's hard. However, you have no respect for Giselle. This whole event is to honor her father that passed away 10 months ago. And if she had done that to you, we would not hear the end of it, and the entire audience would be burning Giselle at the stake. But this is what you do? So hold on. Nikki says, if G&A makes a citation t-shirt, I will buy it. Me too. I'm buying it and I'm wearing it during a recap. Get on it, Giselle. Ashley. Get on it. I'm buying it. Just make it cute, though, because I know everything else y'all do is so tacky. Because at least with, like, Lala from Vanderpump Rules, when she came out with the Send It to Daryl, those are cute. I'll wear it. Anyways, if they come up with the 9 citations, and look, Giselle, someone clip this and send it to them, because Giselle, put the 9 citations, make it embroidered. Because I like a little embroidered. I'll pay the money for the embroidered. Make it embroidered. I don't want no cheap, print. Okay, come on. Embroider it. Okay? I mean, you could do the print because Send It to Dare wasn't embroidered. But embroider it. Okay? Look, embroider it. Wait, what was I going to say? Oh, embroider the shirt. Make it a sweatshirt. I need a t-shirt. I don't want a t-shirt. It's getting cold. I'm up here in New York. It's getting cold. Make it a sweatshirt. If you're going to put G&A on it, make it small. I want to see the citations. I don't want to promote. But all the money that you raise from that shirt, give it to a charity where victims, people that have drived under the influence. And then it goes to a good cause, and then the whole narrative and PR campaign that the network is trying to do for Giselle, I will fall for it. I will fall for it. I will fall for it. Here we go. I'm ready. Damn it, don't make me do the shirt. I don't have time. I ain't got time to do all of that. Come on. Oh, right. Oh, Nora says, I would wear a crop sweatshirt here in the tropics. I wear it here in the studio, a crop. Y'all can't see my belly, so I'll be like, duh. Can someone send this to Giselle, please? I want to get on it today. All 9 citations. Okay. Oh, Amanda said, you might need a cardigan for all the citations. I mean, with the sweatshirt, I think you'll be able to do it. I think you'll be able to do it. And then you guys, come on. I want to see the charity. There are plenty of charities for families that have lost loved ones to drunk drivers. And then they can donate. Or look, if y'all make it, I will buy some for our viewers. Because I know the money's, I don't know if I trust y'all, but but no, I write a big old check. And then get it done before the reunion. Shoot. Look, get it done so I can wear it to the DMV when I come there for the Kempire After Dark live experience. Soon. Stay tuned. Anyways. All right, let me focus. We went on a whole tangent. Hey, guys, be sure to like the video if you haven't already. We're not even at 500 likes and we have like 1,500 people watching. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitch and Twitter and behind the scenes here on TikTok. Someone said, not a cardigan. I love me a cardigan, though. Do it nice, though. Ooh, Janessa said, maybe a trench coat. It's more shady. Ooh. Well, they could do a whole thing. You could put a whole bucket hat with the citations. Okay, anyways. All right, moving on. So Karen sends that text message to all the women. They're like, what are we going to do? Giselle's is like, really? Like, really? Is this what we're doing? She sends this event. She knew about this event. No, she did not know about this event weeks before this. She wasn't invited to this event weeks before this. Karen bought her way onto this event, allegedly. That's what I believe. That's why when Giselle received the invitation originally, Karen wasn't on it. Holly says, do we have a mugshot? No, we don't have a mugshot of Karen. We do not have a mugshot. So if we did, no, I'll leave the mugshot off. Because, the whole image and likeness stuff, no. Just all the citations. Just all the citations. I can already envision it. It'd be cute. It'd be cute. Anyways, so Karen sends a text message inviting all the ladies, and she says that she's going to provide transportation so the women can go from one event to the next event. Okay. Mind you, if you've ever been to a big city like DC, getting from one event to the next event is not easy. It's not easy. So Giselle is preparing her event. We're at the event space. And look, this event space probably be great for like a regular party. But the way they try to decorate it, I was like, I mean, look, it's for a good cause, but it was giving Giselle. I was like, it was feeling empty. It felt maybe like the event space was too big for the furniture and the flowers. I was like, I'm looking around. I'm like, this is for a good, look, close my eye. This is for a good cause. This is for a good cause. This is for a good cause. Fine. So the women are in a Sprinter, Jassy Sprinter, and they're going to Karen's event first. Okay. Giselle's already annoyed because she's like, what time are they going to get to my event? She's like, they might as well not even come. And I know some people might say that's a little bit dramatic, but her event is short and she invited them first. And honestly, they should have just honored the fact that I'm going to the event that I was told about a week ago. Karen's text message to them, was it the morning of that she was inviting them? Oh, Winter says the decor was tacky and did not match. All right, so I'm not alone. Pretty says it was chaotic. Yeah, all right, so I'm not alone. I was like, ooh. Karen's mugshot might be from the first DUI. Oh yeah, there was definitely no mugshot from this last one. I mean, we didn't see the mugshot from this last one. There probably is a mugshot. We just haven't seen it. All right. Let me go back. Okay. So the women are in the Sprinter. They're talking about, okay, going to one event to the next event. Giselle is getting her event together, but she doesn't even want the women to come. We did find out, I didn't even realize the timeline of things, when her father got his CAT scan, and she said this is the reason why she wants to help raise funds for this foundation, is that her father got a CAT scan. 12 days later, he died. So she wants to change that for other people in the future. So she wants to work with this organization to raise money, and this is what the event is about. Okay. The ladies end up calling Ashley, FaceTiming with Ashley, letting her know. So we think we'll get there by like 8:30. And Ashley's like, 8:30 is too late. Look, 8:30 is too late. She's like, can you get here for 8? And they're like, Stacey's like, yeah, we can definitely do 8. Ashley's like, she goes to Giselle to tell Giselle, so like, they were talking about 8:30, but I told them to come at 8. Giselle's like, they might as well not come. She's like, this is so rude. And look, I hate to agree with Giselle, but it is rude. But I get it. I get why Wendy would go to Karen's event over Giselle's. I get why Kiana would go to the other event over Giselle's because it's a GNA event. But the other women, I would just go. Vivian, who's Karen's friend, didn't go to Karen's event. She went to Giselle's event because that's where she was invited first. Jacqueline went to Giselle's event. She didn't go to Karen's event. I feel like there's more to what happened between Jacqueline and Karen than we know, because I feel as if Karen must have said something to Jacqueline in regards to what she said at the Hat-titude party. Because for them already to be disconnected after they were cool before, I was like, for Jacqueline to show up at Giselle's event without Mia, I was like, this is quite telling. So at Karen's event, which we didn't even get to see Karen receive the award. Maybe we'll see that next week. The other ladies arrived at Karen's event, but they stayed, took a couple of pictures, and left. Wendy and Kiana stayed. They said, we'll come to Giselle's event later. So Karen's event, photo op, I didn't recognize anybody there, but again, I didn't recognize anybody at Giselle's event. Giselle's event looked like a fan situation. Like, who are these people? Was that Giselle's sister that the camera panned to? The sister that we never met? I was like, is that her sister that's sitting there? Because the camera went to her, but I don't remember if it said this is Giselle's family or somebody. Or maybe not. I'm just assuming. So both events looked lackluster to me, but they tried to do both. And I have to say, the women ended up going to Karen's event, spent a little bit of time, left that event, and came to Giselle's event. But as soon as they arrived at Giselle's event, Giselle's like, no, y'all can leave. No, why are you here? But this is very Housewives. This poor Stacy. Stacy's like, Stacy, what you should have done, you should have went to Giselle's event. And I get it. She came through Karen's. She probably felt a little bit of loyalty. Plus, she was in the ride with the other women. So she was almost stuck. It's like they kidnapped her. It's like they kidnapped Stacy, poor thing. Because she was the only one that was really saying, like, this is wrong, guys. This is really, really wrong. We really should be at Giselle's event. So the women went to Karen's event, made it by 8 o'clock to Giselle's event. But Giselle's event was like, what, from 7 to 9 or something like that? So arriving at 8 o'clock, I don't think is bad. And I think Giselle throwing them out is doing a lot. But I get her being upset. This is supposed to celebrate her family. Mind you, at the Karen event, though, Karen's like, oh, so how is Giselle? How is Giselle doing? Because she knew Giselle was going to be upset. And she's like, obviously, I'm more popular with the women. They all came to my event. Girl, see, again, typically, something like this, Housewives, funny, quirky, we would be feeling very different about it if this event wasn't a PR stunt in order to deflect from Karen's 9 citations. If it had nothing to do with that and it was just Karen being shady and a housewife, it'd be fine. But it's a PR stunt to deflect, to continue to deflect from her taking accountability this season. So for me, it lands differently when she's like, oh, did Giselle say anything? How's Giselle doing? Mind you, what the other stinky, icky part of this, and it probably wouldn't be different, is the fact that Giselle is doing this in honor of her father that passed 10 months ago. And you lost 2 parents, and Giselle was the first person to come and comfort you how many seasons ago at that reunion? Oh, she was the only one. Just saying. So it's twofold. It's twofold for me. It's the stuff happening in regards to the DUI, but also if this was a situation, a charity with your parents, you would have been so hurt. The audience would have been so mad at Giselle. I think they should be really mad at you, Karen. I do think that the audience should be really mad at Karen. Because between the deflection, the 9 citations, the PR stunt of it all, Giselle just lost her father. It's so disrespectful. Just saying. Sasha says Karen is so wrong. I agree. All right, we're gonna take some callers. We're gonna take some calls because they end this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Potomac with with Giselle kicking out the women. She's like, no. She's like, William, security. William. Part of me is like, okay, she's doing a lot. At least the women showed up. But Karen, Giselle needs to come for Karen. Giselle needs to come for Karen, and she'll deserve it. She'll deserve it. But we already know Giselle's not really great at coming for anyone, so it's not going to land. It's not going to land. She was so wrong, but it's like, let's say this was a Kenya Moore, like she'd be able to boom, boom, boom. Giselle's not going to be able to do that. Giselle's not going to be able to do that. Elise says, you're sending me with saying 9 citations over and over. I'm going to say it throughout the season. And if I could get AI to make Teresa Giudice say it, it'd be even better. 9 citations. All right. Anyways. Moving along, guys, if you haven't already, be sure to like the video. It's easy. It's free. We're going to get to some callers. Don't forget to subscribe to the Kempire Podcast. You can hear audio versions of our podcast and additional content on the Kempire Podcast. Make sure you rate and review us there. We have how many thousands of you watching today alone? If all of you went over to our podcast on Apple Podcasts or on Spotify and gave us a 5-star review, we would hit 1,000 instantly. We only need like 500 and something of you. And I know thousands of you listen. So don't forget to download and don't forget to subscribe and don't forget to give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. All right. If you are a member of the channel, we're going to drop the call link for you first. Let me just do that now on the community tab. All right. So I'm going to drop it for all members. This is not a part of your membership, but We do it. All right. So all members, I've dropped the call-in link for you guys. Become a member today at teamkempire.com/join. And don't forget our live stream today is sponsored by our friends over at Factor Meals. More information on Factor Meals will be available in the description. All right. Shout out to everyone watching on Twitter, Twitch, and on TikTok. We see you guys. Cosmic says she needs to go on Watch What Happens Live. I think that this week they didn't have anyone from any of the shows on Watch What Happens Live. Let me say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. Zoe, thank you so much for the super chat. Zoe says, saying it should not have happened, I messed up, is not pleading guilty, but it's taking accountability. Oh, how I missed this live. I'm happy again. Hey, Zoe. I feel like there is a way for her to say it without taking ownership. But I believe she did it. What do you believe? Don't let us do a poll. Zoe, thank you for another super chat. Kempire, stop yelling at me. I hit 2 cars that were not moving. I learned my lesson. Thank you. I live in South Africa. Police were kind. They drove me home. Zoe. Well, I'm glad you're safe, Zoe. Amanda, thank you so much for the super chat. Amanda says, do you think they would go if they knew Giselle didn't want them there if they go to Karen's? Wait, I don't understand the question. Do you think they would go if they knew Giselle didn't want them there if they go to Karen's? I don't know. I mean, I guess time will only tell. Time will only tell. It was very clear that they wanted to do both events. And could they have done both events? I mean, realistically, no, unless the other event was a lot earlier. But I think they were trying. Someone said do a poll. Come on. I do think that the producers and the network wanted to have one of those housewives moments. But it lands differently when we're talking about what we're talking about. When we're talking about someone that just lost a parent. When we're talking about someone that just got arrested for a DUI and a DWI. It lands differently. These housewives' antics of it lands differently when we're talking about those particular subjects. I feel like the women could have showed up to this event. Karen could have talked about her issues with Jacqueline. Because, they still want to have these little housewives moments at these events. You could have had those moments and just had one event instead of Karen and her PR stunt. I'm more mad about the PR stunt, and I'm more mad at the organization for even giving her an award after she was just arrested for a DWI and DUI and 9 citations. What were you guys thinking? But I guess cash is king, allegedly. All right. Okay. All right. We have a bunch of people backstage. Live chat. We have, how many of you watching? We have almost 1,500 of you on YouTube alone watching. Can we get to 600 likes? Once we get to 600 likes, I'll drop the call-in link. If you're watching the replay of this, like the video. It's easy. It's free. We appreciate it. Sherry doesn't know. Sherry says, is this Karen's first or second DUI? Her second DUI. Deborah says, exactly, Kempire. I absolutely agree. It hits different. Cozy says, and 9 citations. Please, and please, GNA, can you produce a sweatshirt with all the 9 citations and give the money to a charitable organization? And I know this is where you're gonna piss me off, Giselle. I think the organization that you're raising money for is amazing. I think it's amazing, but what's gonna put it right into Karen is if you give it to an organization where families have been affected by drunk drivers. I understand you want to raise money. We could do it another time, and I'm willing to help. Look, I'm willing to help. We can raise money for the organization that you were raising for in this particular episode. But right now, I want to raise money for the families that are affected by people like Karen and 9 citations and lose loved ones. Let's raise money for them. All 9 citations, you could put a little GNA on right here on the chest. A little, very tiny. Very, very, no, very tiny. Okay? Very. Oh, A-Rich said, I forgot about MAD, the organization MAD. That could be one, but maybe there's a local organization. I know we have a lot of people in the DMV. Is there a local organization that we can raise money for? Just asking. Y'all are hilarious in the comments. All right, guys, we're almost at 600 likes. We're gonna drop the call link for the live chat in just a second. Connected? Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate the support. Thank you. All right, let me take a sip from my coldest water bottle. And don't forget, guys, we still have an active code for coldest. They have sheets, they have pillows, they have water bottles that keeps your water cold for 36 plus hours. Kempire 10 for 10% off. Okay. Patricia says Karen is acting like a Karen. Foxy says very tiny. In fact, put it on the back. Look, we don't need the G&A in the front. We already are, we have not a lot of room for the 9 citations. Okay, let me get to the callers. All right, live chat. We're almost at 600 likes. I'll drop the call link for you guys in just a second. Shout out to our members. We appreciate them being members of the channel. This is our weekly recap of the Real Housewives of Potomac. We love doing Potomac, but probably mostly talking about it with you guys. How are you feeling about the season so far? I know it's only episode 2. It's okay. My biggest issue was the Giselle and Wendy conversation. That needed to be handled very differently. I don't feel fulfilled from that conversation or satisfied from that conversation. But I am enjoying Stacy. I enjoy the conversation with her daughter. I enjoy the conversation she had with Ashley about racial identity. Those were my highlights from this week's episode. All right, let's get to the callers because, look, it's Monday and I got bills to pay and bookkeeping to do, all that life. Okay. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to KempireRadio.com.